Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaykum assalam.
So being a Muslim, my main problem is with the Christian doctrine of godhood of Jews. There's a couple of questions related. First of all, I find this concept logically fallacious. How can God be finite and then infinite at the same time? It's like saying that there could exist a square circle. It's a logical fallacy. When we say that Jesus was God or Son of God, we are actually saying that God existed in finitude during the life of Jesus. And he also is infinite at the same time. This is logically fallacious. Now, because you are you're coming from a historical standpoint.
Do you want me to respond to that, or are you...
Having something else? It's a related, the same question continuing. So because you're coming at it from a historical standpoint, the concept of Trinity, the word Trinity itself, it doesn't appear as a theological term till near the end of the 2nd century, after Jesus. It was first used as trias by Theophilus, the bishop of Antioch in AD 180. Adding up to that, when you refer to Mark chapter 14 verse 62, which is what you say is the proof that Jesus claimed to be God, are you really applying the same criteria of objectivity that you were applying previously to the Quran when interpreting this as meaning that Jesus is claiming himself to be God? Because if you look at it completely objectively, looking at the entire text, there is nothing in the entire text that's saying that Jesus claimed to be God, and in fact, the verse that you yourself quote is actually saying Son of Man. So, I think you get...
Don't go anywhere. What's your name?
Munzer.
Munzer. Where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan.
Pakistan. I had the exact same questions when I practiced Islam. What I want to point out is that first and foremost, what we have to see is what Jesus claimed for himself. Now, the secondary stuff that follows, the theological unfolding or unpacking of what he said, we can spend years and years debating what it means. But what did he say about himself? That's the first thing we want to look at. Again, that's a historical perspective. Theologians argue all day long, back and forth, back and forth. Theologians argue all the time, and I just sit back and watch and smile because you can't really prove it one way or another. But when it comes to historical events, we can show with relative degrees of certainty, if the evidence is good, if the records are good, what the most likely conclusion is. So first, and let me give you an answer before. If you feel like interjecting, we can talk afterwards. First, I want to point out you are absolutely right. The term Trinity is not used till the end of the 2nd century. What is the doctrine of God called in the Quran and Islam? What is the doctrine of God called?
Tawheed. Tawheed.
Is that in the Quran? No, the word...
The word Tawheed is a derived word from ahad.
Good. So you understand. And the word Tawheed is not itself in the Quran. In the same way the word Trinity is not itself in the Bible. This doesn't pose a problem. The Shahada is not found in the Quran. You have the components of the Shahada in the Quran, but you do not have La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah in that way found in the Quran. The components are found in the Quran. With the Trinity, the components are found in the Bible. The word Tawheed does appear in the Hadith. Oh, that's great, but it's not in the Quran.
Just narrations of the Prophet.
And the Hadith is much later. So we're looking at you asked for the Bible, and we have within the early canonical tradition, people calling God a Trinity in the early canonical trinity wouldn't think so, Don. In fact, much closer to Jesus' time than the Hadith were to Muhammad's time. So whichever way you stack it, when you're consistent, you end up with a stronger case for the Trinity, for Jesus' deity. Now I want to continue on to your next part of your question, which is Jesus finite or infinite? The argument is that Jesus is... actually, I'm going to pose it in a slightly different way. Can Allah come onto this world if he wants?
Wouldn't think so. You
wouldn't think so. So Allah's omnipotence is limited. He can't come onto this world.
It's like basically Allah cannot do logically fallacious things. He cannot create a square circle, right? Because that's something logically fallacious. But how do we know that's what this is? Because, for example, in Surah Al-Imran, when Allah is talking to Moses, it says in Surah Al-Imran, I think it's Surah Al-Imran, it might be Surah 18, but double check, that Allah, as he spoke to Moses, Allah was in the bush. So if you want to say that meant something else, well, you're going to have to argue with the Quran on that one. It seems to be pretty clear that Allah can emanate his voice from a physical place. He can be in a physical place in a sense. In the same way, I don't believe that God coming to this earth limits his omnipotence. It's not a limitation of his omnipotence.
Jesus has taken on flesh. God the Father is still everywhere. God, Jesus, the Son, is here on this earth. It's a limitation in that sense, but it's not a limitation of his nature. He's both the divine and human nature. That's the argument. You asked about the Son of Man. You said he's not calling himself the Son of God. He's calling himself the Son of Man. I'm emphasizing to you, my friend, when this hit me, again, while I was practicing Islam, when this hit me, it hit me like a bolt of lightning. The claimed Son of God, according to Jews at that time, was not anything divine. Adam was called the Son of God. Solomon was called the Son of God. In the Psalms, it says you are gods. It's not a divine claim to call someone a son of God. But when someone refers to that Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven, who's going to receive glory, authority, and sovereign power, and people of every nation and language are going to worship him with the worship due only to God, that Son of Man is more than just a human. He is divine. He's going to be worshiped by all people of all time. So when Jesus calls himself the Son of Man, it's not the Son of God title. And lots of Christians get this wrong, so I'm not pointing the finger at you. Lots of Christians say, oh, Son of Man means he's human, and Son of God means he's God. No, it's the other way around. Into the Jewish context, Son of God was a normal human title. Son of Man from Daniel 7, that was something divine. Go back and read Daniel chapter 7. See that this man is worshipped by all people from all eternity. This man, one who looks like a human anyway, is worshipped by all people alongside of God the Father. That's the one Jesus is claiming to be. Definitely understand that point that I'm trying to make. And so when you see that Jesus' claim is found there in Mark 14:62, it's found in all the Gospels. And every time Jesus uses the term Son of Man, he's alluding to that. You cannot extract that from the Gospels. So please put Mark 14:62 next to Daniel chapter 7 and see what Jesus is claiming for himself.
I really admire the fact that you argue with reason and facts. So my question was basically in John 5, if you read from 19 onwards, Jesus says that he can actually do nothing, and that, wherever his power is coming from the Father. In John 5:30, he says, I can of my own self do nothing. And as I hear, I judge, for my judgment is just, for I seek not my will, but the will of the Father. And also in John 17, he says that I have completed your mission that God's Father gave him on this earth, and at that time he was not crucified. In the Old Testament, Abraham was visited by God with 2 angels, but in human form, right?
Yes.
In human form. So was God Jesus at that time?
Okay, I will answer this question on Tuesday. In the second part of this debate, I ask my dear audience to subscribe to our channel so that they don't miss the next videos. On our channel, you can watch Christian, Muslim, atheist, and any religion without prejudice, their debates recreated with artificial intelligence. A lot of effort was put into making this video. First, like the video and then share your opinion in the comments for the whole world.